Okay, so I got another video. I just made a video in regards to Michael Rappaport responding to my opinion, giving you my opinion on what happened there, and the majority of it was just basically me saying I would expect him to know better. Well, this is another one of those. Somebody that I would expect to know better did something that got himself fired, and right now it's probably all over the news at this point, but. NBA legend Paul Pierce, NBA champion Paul Pierce, has been let go of the ESPN network because of some pictures that have been floating around of him on IG Live. Um, it looked like he was in a barbershop, to be honest with you. Some type of like stripper slash barbershop. Looked like a fun place to be. But the problem with this is you got the stripper on the floor with the Damu colored red rag barber sheet over your chest. You got a blunt in your mouth, smoking lit, and you got drinks in your hand. It's like, bro, how many different ways are you trying to get fired and canceled? Like, how many different sets of things do you need to hand your bosses to give them a reason to let you go? That's my thing. Like, you covered about 3 or 4 different things they could have fired you for in one flurry. And you're, what, 40 years old? It's layered for me just as a perspective of looking at Paul Pierce, because I've been mad at Paul Pierce for a long time. Not personally, but just basketball-wise. He's a Celtic. He led the Beat LA championship chant in the Eastern after winning the Eastern Conference Finals 2009. And I took offense to that because he's from LA. He's from Inglewood at that. That bothered me, even though I know he's a Celtic and he was going for his team, and of course he's rooting for himself. But there's a certain level of respect that I would expect him to show this city, having been a native here, and I just didn't sense that. That bothered me to my core. It did. As a Laker fan, it definitely bothered me. As a LA native, it bothered me. You know what I mean? I didn't see Kobe do that when we were going up against Philadelphia 76ers. You see what I'm saying? That was my attitude. He said he was an LA boy, and a lot of people in Philly took offense to that, and rightfully so. But he wasn't screaming beat Philly or, putting up burning Philly jerseys or whatever. That I don't know. That was my thing. And he went on to beat us fair. They had a better team that year. We came back and beat them fair. Got them in 7 games. So that was my thing with Paul Pierce, and it just kind of carried as a fan, but not personal. You know what I mean? But, sometimes his takes are miss, more so miss for me. I don't usually agree with him a lot of the time. I think he has some wacky takes. But I never looked at Paul Pierce as somebody who I thought would allow himself to be seen in a way that would let them fire him. Never thought that. He spent his whole career in the NBA not allowing anything like this to happen. That's the thing that confused me. It's like, why you let this shit happen now, bro? It's 2021. You've been in our faces. We've known who you are since 2003, since you were drafted, even before that, since you were in Kansas. You never let any of this happen. You've been from Inglewood/Oakland the whole time. Everybody knows. Anybody from Inglewood knows just by hearing you talk, who you grew up around. We know. If you're from over here and you listen to how he speaks, you know. It's not like, and it's one of those things where it's like, he's done a great job. He's done a great job of keeping that world and this world separate. And he's allowed himself to be seen as somebody from those neighborhoods who is in the rooms, talking sports, sitting up there with pundits. Ain't nobody up there from these neighborhoods talking like, with his accent. You don't see anybody on TV with his accent. They don't market people like from our round the way. They don't, we're not on ESPN. They're not talking to brothers like us. I'm just gonna be honest. So from my perspective, I'm a little disappointed because it's like, why are you on IG Live with all this incriminating stuff? Nothing that he did was illegal. Let's put forth some perspective. None of this is illegal. Everything that he did, including smoking weed, is legal in the state of California. Smoking, drinking in a space that's confined, personal business. Maybe he could have been wearing a mask. I don't know what you want to do. But at the end of the day, what got him was the image of all of this. Not necessarily was it wrong or right, but the image of it all. ESPN, a Disney corporation, if I'm not mistaken, does not want anybody that's representing them on a corporate level being seen doing all of that. All of that. Smoking weed, wearing the red rag, come on, bro. Red rag? That's the part that bothered me. Okay, you want to smoke weed? Smoke weed, bro. You got the stripper next to you? That's pushing it. That's pushing it. You don't want to have a stripper thong next to you when you up there with red eyes and a blunt in your mouth. That's too much. But the red rag, in my opinion, probably is the thing. That might have been like over the edge. You know, that might, when you promote gang culture in such a way on ESPN, nah. And I know that wasn't his intention. I feel like probably anybody in that barber's chair probably would have been given that same sleeve. You know what I mean? I probably would have been given that same sleeve. But it just speaks to an understanding of knowing where you from, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody know you from Inglewood. And everybody knows what color is prevalent over here like that. We know. So you just essentially confirmed what probably everybody and their grandma was suspecting about your background, about your character, about who it is you grew up around, or what it is that may have taken place. And people can run with that shit when they don't have. That's another thing. They can run with who they think you are based on these type of things, bro. And that's the part that is hurtful, I guess, as a person from LA. It's just like, wow, they can really like just paint him out to be just a cold-blooded, horrible guy, just off the strength of what we saw there. So my hope for him at this point is that he finds his way onto the other network, that he goes back. I don't think he's going to need no rehab or nothing like that. I don't think this is one of those situations where he needs to go reflect. No, he just needs to go figure out how to restore the image short term and get back out there doing what he does. Take this as an opportunity to expand his broadcasting career online. You know, there's a lot of different things Paul Pierce can do. He's still Paul Pierce. And his name was going to carry weight, especially in Boston, especially in LA. But it's just one of those things, you can never get back that ESPN love. And if he were to go to another network, chances are negotiations are going to be affected drastically by this incident. They're going to knock down that price substantially if he's offered a job at all. And given that he is not someone who has a bunch of takes that people agree with, chances are he's not going to get as many offers as, say, somebody else who's a bit more liked in that field, you know. And that's the hard part about it as well. He's not the most beloved figure on television. You know what I mean? I think this goes a little different if this is Chuck or if this is Stephen A. You know what I mean? Like Paul Pierce. So, yeah, that's what I got to say, man. My perspective on this is just unfortunate. I don't think Paul Pierce did anything that I wouldn't have done myself, to be completely honest with you. But if I were him in his position, I would not have done any of that. I would not have been seen doing any of that. And you certainly wouldn't have had me no damn IG live with any of that. It's crazy, man. You know, that's you once again are giving your enemies all the ammunition to use against you. So, a cautionary tale once again. What we're seeing this week is a theme going on this week. Is that we're seeing people who are older. Things are catching up with guys who are older than us. And I say us, I'm 36 years old. This is the third story where someone who's supposed to be my elder is dealing with the ramifications of a mistake, or dealing with the ramifications of not getting help, or what have you. DMX with his addiction issue and ultimately the heart attack that has him in the ICU at the moment, fighting for his life. Prayers out to him and his family. Once again, it's a cautionary tale of trying to fight your addiction and giving and receiving help. I don't know if he could have did more or less, but more was needed. That's obvious. And then we look at Michael Rappaport and his situation. Now he's 50 years old being called a snitch. It's so embarrassing. And it ain't even no anything illegal taking place. It's just you leaking something and just not a good decision. And then you have this situation right here with Paul Pierce, who's also my elder, older than me rather. And here he is in a situation where he's being fired just because he's doing stuff that he probably shouldn't be doing at that age anyway. You know what I mean? Just being seen in a light that you should never, ever allow yourself to be seen in at that with that type of job. So, yeah, man, our OGs got to do better, man. Guys who are older than myself, including myself, have to put forth a good image going forward if we want to keep anything that we receive in this life. It's not enough to just be out here. You have to make sure that your actions and your words match, and you got to make sure that you are seen in a light that you can live with. And if you're not in a position to see the lay of the land as it pertains to what can happen to you if you don't, then chances are you should stand still and seek counsel. Don't do anything until you know what you're dealing with. My name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.